Welcome back, viewers, to another video by Zemflix. This story begins after the 9/11 attacks in America when Al-Qaeda attacked New York and Washington, D.C. The entire world witnessed America's anger. At that time, American President George Bush decided that anyone who supported terrorism would be targeted. Even though Saddam Hussein, who was the dictator of Iraq, was not directly involved in 9/11, America believed that he was indirectly supporting various terrorist groups. However, this accusation was not enough to justify a direct attack on Iraq. But the U.S. was determined to end Saddam Hussein's 24-year rule. To justify an invasion, America claimed that Saddam Hussein was hiding weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, nuclear weapons, in Iraq. Based on this claim, in March 2003, America attacked Iraq, supported by the militaries of the UK, Australia, and Poland. In just 3 weeks, they reached Baghdad, Iraq's capital. On the very first day of the attack, Saddam Hussein vanished. When the American military reached Baghdad, they found no sign of him. After occupying Baghdad, U.S. troops toppled Saddam's 24-year regime. They also famously pulled down Saddam's statue at Firdos Square to celebrate their victory. But while the statue fell easily, finding the real Saddam Hussein proved far more difficult. Now, locating Saddam and his top government officials became the top priority for the U.S. military. Every soldier was given full authority to capture Saddam and his 51 officials, dead or alive. There were 52 names in total on the most wanted list. To help soldiers remember their faces, special playing cards were printed featuring the pictures of Saddam and his 51 officers, just like a deck of cards with 52 cards. Soldiers would repeatedly see their targets' faces while playing cards in their free time. For the next several months, the U.S. military searched every corner of Iraq, raiding homes, questioning relatives, searching shops, colleges, mosques, leaving no stone unturned. They only knew that Saddam was somewhere in Iraq, but where exactly? After months of fruitless efforts, the U.S. announced a reward of $55 million for information, $25 million for Saddam and $15 million for each of his sons. Many Iraqis, even some opposed to Saddam, were tempted by the money. As expected, someone eventually came forward at a U.S. military base, claiming that Saddam's two sons, Uday and Qusay, were hiding in his house. At first, nobody believed him, but when U.S. forces surrounded the house, it turned out the sons were indeed there. They refused to surrender and were heavily armed. After several failed attempts, a missile attack was launched on the house. When soldiers entered, they found both Uday and Qusay dead. With their deaths, America lost one of its biggest leads to find Saddam. But the U.S. military did not consider this a failure. They continued arresting Saddam's associates but still found no solid leads. 4 months had passed, and some began to believe Saddam might have already died. As a result, military efforts and intelligence operations started slowing down. Then, an unexpected audio tape surfaced, a recording of Saddam Hussein expressing grief over his sons' deaths. This tape confirmed that Saddam was still alive. The search resumed with renewed intensity. The reward for his capture was increased to $30 million, and U.S. citizenship was offered to anyone providing credible information. This huge reward led many Iraqis to start giving false leads in hopes of earning the money, making the search even more complicated. By this time, nearly all of the people printed on the playing cards had been captured, except for a few, including Saddam Hussein himself. At this point, Defense Intelligence Agency Sergeant Eric Maddox took a different approach. He realized that most of the people on the most wanted list had power because of Saddam, not the other way around. The people Saddam still needed most were his bodyguards. Saddam's bodyguards were divided into 3 groups: those who protected his palace, those who cleared locations in advance, and those who always stayed with him. Maddox believed that at this stage, Saddam was most dependent on the third group, his close personal bodyguards. He decided to focus on Saddam's hometown of Tikrit and interrogated the son of one of Saddam's bodyguards, Mohammed Ibrahim Omar. But Omar himself was missing. Maddox later encountered an old servant of Saddam's who revealed that Saddam loved an Iraqi fish dish called Masgouf. Maddox remembered that during interrogation, Omar's son had mentioned that his father loved fishing and owned a fish farm in a city called Samarra. When Maddox visited the fish farm, he didn't find Mohammed Ibrahim Omar but met two fishermen. One of the fishermen turned out to be the cousin of an Iraqi guerrilla fighter. After Saddam's regime collapsed, many of his military officials had launched a guerrilla war against the U.S. military. It was believed that these fighters operated under the orders of Mohammed Ibrahim Omar, Saddam's closest bodyguard. The fisherman also mentioned his uncle, who lived in Baghdad. Maddox and his team raided that house and surprisingly found Mohammed Ibrahim Omar hiding there. Ibrahim, who used to send the Masgouf fish dish to Saddam from his fish farm, was now leading guerrilla attacks against the U.S. military. At first, he refused to talk, but after Maddox promised him and his family U.S. citizenship, he finally gave up Saddam's location. Ibrahim revealed that Saddam was hiding in a town called Ad-Dar. U.S. troops searched the area near the Tigris River, finding two empty farmhouses. Ibrahim then pointed to the ground where a long rope led into a spider hole, which was sealed with styrofoam. When the hole was opened, it was pitch dark. Just as a soldier was about to throw in a grenade, two hands emerged from the hole. It was a man with a long beard who said, "My name is Saddam Hussein, and I am the president of Iraq." The American army successfully captured Saddam alive after 32 weeks of non-stop efforts. Maddox's different approach eventually paid off. Later analysis showed that if Maddox hadn't discovered Saddam's love for Masgouf, they might never have found him. In the end, no weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq. American President George Bush himself confirmed that nothing was discovered. We hope you enjoyed this video by Zemflix. Please like, share, and leave your loving comments. See you in the next